Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about how to succeed on aggressive laners. This is something that I spent a lot of time perfecting in my professional career. From this video, you'll learn secrets about how to leverage your aggression in early game, how to translate that out of laning phase, and how to propel your lead into mid game. By understanding these concepts, you'll have a foundation that will improve two critical skills that 99% of marksmen struggle with. These are taking winning fights in laning phase and making powerful moves in mid game. With that said, our usual mission structure will be more general than usual as we're tackling three individual portions of the game. In laning phase, our focus is to pick fights we know we can win. At the point when we aren't getting any more value from laning phase, we need to be the first to transition out. After choosing to transition out of laning phase, we want to immediately make a big impact on the map. As each of these requirements for these is met, we will dive into them more heavily during the video. With that said, let's hop right into the game. In this game, I'm playing Draven with a Nami support against Ashe and Pyke. As the lane starts, both sides have had to leash. This makes getting control of the lane at level 1 pretty awkward on both sides because the melees are all low and the casters get low pretty soon after that. In addition, since Ashe has a small range advantage me and a poke advantage, it's hard for me to extend before level 2 to get a good trade onto her. As the lane starts out, we're going to see something the red team do that is really annoying to deal with. Because both of us placed defensive wards at level 1, neither Nami or I have wards to put in the lane brush for control. In addition, Nami is playing very passively here, which isn't correct play, but either way it's happening. Because of these two things, the red team has a really strong opportunity that they're going to be cashing in on to make use of these lane brushes. This is annoying for me because it makes me play permanently on the left side of the lane, and I'd rather have a full range of movement to dodge from side to side so that I can avoid Ashe Ws. We see that even though I'm playing correctly to counter Pyke's movement, I'm vulnerable and getting hit by Ashe's harassment. Of course, this positioning is still preferable than if I was on the other side of the blue casters, where I was closer to the bush that Pyke is hiding in. Anyway, regarding the goals for this laning phase, we only want to take optimal fights. And in this current position, an optimal fight looks like Pyke leaving the bush to fight with Nami and me when we have an even minion wave. Around 15 seconds later, this is looking like one of those fights. For a lot of players, this would look kind of scary since Pyke can charge up, pull, flip people, and so on. But since I've thought about this fight in advance, it's easy for me to know what I need to do here. Additionally, this isn't as scary as it could potentially be since Ashe is a few hundred range further back than she should be. This is either because Pyke didn't communicate his aggression or she just isn't paying enough attention. Anyway, let's check out this fight. I ended up A-clicking the space between Pyke and the caster minion, which caused me to hit the minion instead of Pyke, but overall this trade wasn't terrible since both of them are now popping pots. Missing out on Nami's flash does suck though. In this period of time in the lane, Nami is still being hyper defensive, so optimal fights are hard to find. Essentially, Pyke has to overextend onto me, miss his abilities, then get bubbled, and we can win a fight. This Nami would really benefit from watching some replays of LCS players, specifically Afro, Adrian, or Smoothie, who are all really good on range supports in the early game. Nami's defensiveness means that it's hard for us to have more damage on the wave, while Ashe gets to free fire autos, so there's no optimal fights here quite yet. The big thing is that I don't want to force the fight to happen, since it's going to cost me health up front starting that fight, which will then cause me to lose it. Level 3s are up in the lane now, which gives Pyke a lot of kill pressure, so I can expect that he will go for something on this wave. However, I have a lot of damage, and Nami has a lot of power at level 3 as well, so if I don't get CC'd out, we should win a fight. He held onto this spell really well, and the second I get flipped, the fight is bad, so I have to flash out in exchange for their ignite. Anyway, after minutes of being pushed in, we finally get a break when Pyke goes to ward. Unfortunately, Nami took this opportunity to run into the enemy Ashe without any CC abilities up, nor any vision, and she died. Because we had no vision and the bubble didn't land, I decided to not go all in on helping her. As we get back into the lane, the wave is now pushing back towards Ashe, so I aim to push it back into their turret before Xin ends up on bot side. I was able to get some harass in as well, which was great. And now, with level 5 in my BF sword, the next wave will finally have some strong opportunities for me to get a fight in. Pyke playing aggressive here signals to me that Xin is nearby. A quick scan of the minimap tells me that Xin will either be able to use the blast cone to get into the river, or he's behind them around the turret area. However, by coming forward with this little health, Pyke is making a critical mistake that can be abused. I know that as long as I get my heal off before he ignites me, I'll be safe against him for long enough to get the kill, get my cash in, and get out before Xin comes. Since Xin hasn't joined the fight yet, I was able to get Ashe's flash burned as well. Had Xin joined at any point, I would have immediately backed off after killing Pyke. A full 20 seconds later than anticipated, Xin finally comes through in the river. It's finally time for us to immediately back off. In the ensuing fight, we both dodged the incoming arrow, which would have easily killed one of us. In addition, due to the distance between Xin and Ashe due to Ashe aiming the arrow, Xin is in a temporary 2v1 that I immediately moved to capitalize on. In the end, we both barely survive, and Kha'Zix gets out with a sliver of health as well. The fight we had against Pyke to start things off was a very small sliver of time that we were able to capitalize on. Assuming he had made that choice with the jungler nearby, had we wasted any time in killing him, it could have been lights out. However, noticing opportunities like that is what you have to do on aggressive early game snowballers like Draven, Lucian, and Miss Fortune. If you just sit back and hang out with a 10 CS lead, you're going to have a big chance of stagnating in the mid game and things won't go your way most of the time. Anyway, I can't transition out of laning phase just yet since both towers are up and things are still volatile on bot lane, and I want to use that volatility to my advantage. Because of that, my goal is to locate another optimal fight that I have a good chance of winning. In this case, with the wave near my turret, I'll hold it here until they both come back into lane, where I will then proceed to thin out the wave with the goal of getting a fight started in the middle of the lane. The moment Ashe comes into lane, I immediately trade autos with her. For one, she doesn't have a healer and I do, so these are always going to be good for me. And for two, I want to make her mad so that Pyke comes and tries to fight me in the middle of the lane. Anyway, back-to-back misplays for me caused me to burn Flash and Nami ultimate, which isn't ideal at all. At this point, I have to evaluate. While we burned Flash and Nami ult, the one plus about that fight was that we chunked Ashe. Knowing that, on this wave I can put pressure onto her where I can. Personally, one of my favorites is to engage on people while they're going to last hit a Cannon. They're usually really focused on them since they're worth so much gold, and they can give me enough of an edge to win a fight. However, before I can enact my plan, Pyke decides to go for the engage. I'm completely okay with this since I was going for a fight anyways, and just have to immediately switch positions with him and put all of my focus on Ashe. I switch positions with Pyke, miss my ultimate on Ashe, dodge out of the way of Ashe's W, dodge the exact frame of Pyke's ultimate, and then turn to last hit Ashe. And if I don't pick up my axe here, Pyke will kill me, so I have to risk going into the red casters to pick it up for the last auto. There were missteps on both sides, but that fight was ideal for me because I had more power at that point in time. Even though I missed my ult, fighting Ashe earlier meant that she wouldn't have enough resources to use all of her spells, and Pyke's willingness to go for engages against me played right into my hand. You may also think that it's time to transition into the mid game. However, laning phase still has value for us, so we don't need to pivot just yet. There's two things I need to think about. For one, can I kill the turret? And for two, can I continue to kill the enemy laners? If either of these are true, I stay in laning phase and I don't look for other opportunities. In this case against Ashe and Pyke, I know that I can kill either of them at least one more time. And if you ever see this on the map when you're returning to lane and you aren't wildly behind in gold and XP, immediately spam ping the enemy marksman's head and chase them down. Here, I'll show you. I saw Zenith Dragon with Pyke nearby as well, and knowing both of those things, it allows this play to be made. This is around the point where I'm ahead of everyone else on the map, and I'd like to get out of laning phase within the next minute or two. Despite the failed all-in on Pyke, I'm forcing all of Zin's attention down bot. I'm resetting here to pick up Stormrazor, and again, I go through the quick checklist. Can I still find high percentage fights in lane? Probably. Have I killed the enemy turret? No. Can I kill the enemy turret? Yes. With all of these things in mind, after Pyke goes over aggressive on Nami, I chase down Ashe, who is the highest priority target, and it's finally time to kill this turret. This is syncing up well with the rest of the map, as my top side is losing, so giving them global gold along with putting my pressure on the middle of the map should really allow us to reclaim control on that part of the map. Some aggressive ADCs are still vulnerable, even when they have big gold leads. Relevant examples of these are Miss Fortune and Draven due to their lack of mobility. Knowing that, I tell my team, hey guys, I'm really strong, but super vulnerable, I need to have someone by me at all times, and we'll win the game pretty easily. They listen, and now I have an entourage of Fizz and Nami. So when I have a lead like this, whether I'm playing ADC or support or mid or top, I want to immediately make an impact when I enter someone else's lane. The reason for this is that a lot of players actually waste time farming waves, and the only thing that they're doing is stealing gold from their teammates while their opponents get ahead. When I see Viktor here, I want to immediately all in him and I ping his head. Unfortunately, Zen is here too, and I just caused my team to take a really bad fight. This exact frame, when Viktor flashes, is when I should back off and kill the turret. Had I been playing smarter, that's exactly what I would have done. However, I didn't give enough respect to Xin Zhao, who has been keeping me in check this whole game. So anyway, we laugh, I apologize, and I go for the exact same play once again. The key in making an impact as a marksman in mid-game is to make plays to remove turrets from the map. That means if there are people defending those towers, you try your best to kill them, and if there are towers that aren't defended, you kill those towers. It's important to ask teammates to join you as necessary, since, as we said, most marksmen are really bad when they're alone. As I'm pushing, I see Poppy on the left side trying to defend mid. Cutting people off from defense lines is one of the strongest plays you can make, and I was enabled to make this play due to great vision coverage from Nami, Kha'Zix, and Fizz. While this play seems extremely aggressive, I saw an existing fight happening on the top side of the map, which reduced my risks substantially. Bottom line, this play needed to happen for me to get damage on the mid turret. And with Fizz joining us, we're able to take that turret down, and we maintain a significant gold lead at around 3,000 gold. We'll go on to win this game, and it takes a while due to our poor team composition having pretty bad siege, but the majority of our gold lead came from my individual lead in the bottom lane, paired from the plays that we made in the mid lane. Our bottom lane leads primarily came from picking the correct fights that allowed our offensive early champion pick to shine. After we started building the lead in the early game, we built a mental checklist of things that we want to make sure happen before we decided to transition our lead to the rest of the map. Then, as we chose the lane to go to, we committed fully on immediately making an impact. Then, while our first attempt wasn't ideal due to an overextension, our second play sealed the deal by cutting off Poppy and dropping the last of the tier 1 turrets, granting our team a substantial map control advantage and allowing our vision lines to be extended for our pick composition to really shine. And well, that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.